Hey, it's Metal Dave Glessner with you on TooFastToDie.com. I'm here with Junkyard, one of the great rock and roll bands that came out of the late 80s. They were on hiatus for a while, but they are back in a big way with a brand new album. We'll get to all that in a minute, but first, guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate you spending the time with us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess a round of introductions are in order. To my left, I've got lead singer David Roach. To my right, drummer Patrick Muzingo. And to his right, bassist Todd Muscat. Welcome to Austin.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
I guess I should say welcome home to you.
Yeah, for
this
him.
is your hometown crowd, right? I take it you grew up here?
Yeah.
Safe to say you got in a lot of trouble?
Grew up in Dallas, came here when I was 6, so yeah, plenty of trouble.
All right.
Old enough to get all the bad values.
All right. So the cops know you're back in town? You're flying under the radar tonight?
I just keep my nose clean.
All right. At least till the end of the interview. You're back with a brand new album, your first in 25 years. It's called High Water. Excellent record. Been getting rave reviews across the board. What clicked after 20-some years? What made you guys get in a room and decide, you know what we need to do after 20-some years is put out a new album?
We got sick of playing the old songs. Yeah. The same old now. But we kind of got a kick in the butt from another guy about 3 years ago that we were going to do a deal with him, and
it was a done deal.
It was pretty much it was a done deal, and
go ahead and start spending the money.
Tim started writing, Dave started writing, and Brian was involved. He started doing some writing, and then about a year into it, we got word that the whole thing just fell apart.
Right.
So at that point, we just continued on writing, and then we started chatting with Rick from Acetate, and he was down for it in like 1 second.
We were looking at labels too, like,
yeah.
Well, you know, in our wildest dreams, which label would we want to be on? And Acetate was the one.
That was the number one, yeah.
We loved the roster. I didn't know Rick personally, but from everybody that we talked to, everyone said good things about Rick. And so it was kind of a no-brainer for us. We were just kind of hoping and praying that he would be into us, and apparently he was. And Tim talked to him, right?
Yeah.
Tim talked to him, set it up, and he came down and saw us at the Viper Room. It was a benefit for Eddie from the Super Suckers, and we did a deal in the back room, just handshakes.
Yeah. Spitting a handshake.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Far cry from what you're used to back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Acetate does sound like a great home for you. Viewers might know that label also is home to the Super Suckers, the Hangman,
Throw Rag,
Rhino Bucket,
yeah.
Lots of good gritty rock and roll bands like yourself. So it sounds like a great place
Lesser known, but
yeah,
you know,
we dig that.
We all had our.
I'd rather have us somewhere like that, like a homegrown kind of like feel and that kind of vibe than
some other label that will end up getting lost in the shuffle. Yeah. We've only done shows here and there since 2000,
right?
And then we've been really active in the last like 3 years, playing at more than 5 or 6 shows a year. So once the Acetate deal happened, all of a sudden shows started happening, and here we are with the record out, 3 months old, and it's still selling like crazy.
Yeah, it's doing really well. The songwriting for this record, did you guys come to the table with scraps of ideas from years gone by, or did you approach this like writing it exclusively from scratch for the purpose of this album?
Yes, and yes.
Yeah. There was no rules.
A couple of the songs I had written probably 20 years ago, and just sat on. And I have, a notebook full of ideas, 2 or 3 lines here and there.
Well, also
Todd had a riff.
I took that. I just recorded it on my phone and emailed it to Tim, and showed up at his house one night. We kind of hammered that out. But you had stuff also where you would just hum it to Tim. They would hook up, and he would hum, and
I don't play guitar, so I have to say phonetically what I hear.
Right.
Na 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 na. What note that is, but that's what I'm hearing in my head.
But
It's
yeah,
the language of
it was a
musicians.
mix of new stuff and old stuff.
New,
later on.
old.
Yeah.
And we didn't like go, okay, we gotta write this kind of thing. It was just kind of just came out, and Brian helped out on it too.
Yeah.
Right.
And the beauty of it compared to doing a record for a huge label like Geffen is they weren't telling us we need to hear a song like that. Or
We need a hit. Where's the hit?
That.
Right.
It's
It's
like,
all whatever came out.
Right. Realistically, what were your expectations for the album? Been kind of out of the picture for a while in terms of putting out a record. What were your thoughts? Did you do it just for yourself, just to have it, or were you hoping to sort of get the name back out there again via this record?
I almost forgot that putting a record out had repercussions, like people would be reviewing it, and I was just that thought came at when now you got to do an interview and they're going to ask you questions about.
I'm sorry.
But that was the beauty of it. I mean, there was no pressure at all on our point.
We really had no
Probably
expectation.
why it came out the way it did is because there wasn't a gun to our head. There was nobody telling us what we needed to be doing or what direction we should be taking. We were just doing what Junkyard does, is just take a song and yardify it.
Right. Yardify it.
Throw it against the wall,
Yeah.
and sometimes it sticks and sometimes it don't.
Yeah. Well, it's done extremely well. All the reviews I've read, top to bottom, have been fantastic.
Including yours, thank you.
Yeah, you're
thank
welcome.
you.
It was well deserved.
No nepotism.
A lot of the reviews have said that it stands up nicely to the previous two major label Junkyard records. I tend to agree, which I think is a feat unto itself. You can come back all these years later and put out something that stands up nicely alongside your catalog without seeing any sort of gap or any loss of energy or attitude or anything. I think it just goes to show the timeliness and the nature of Junkyard. It's always been kind of classic, timeless rock and roll. It is what it is. It doesn't
Definitely.
change the trend.
We didn't pigeonhole ourselves by singing about hot chicks on the strip or anything that would come back and bite us in the ass by dating us.
Right.
Yeah, loud drums and 3-chord screaming guitars, never go out of style. It's like,
And also, we did have a hiatus for a long time, so there was not, we were putting album after album out. We're trying to
Go in a different
go in a
direction
different
or whatever.
direction, try new
chasing what was hot.
avenues, it's like
So you kind of literally picked up where you
one
left
trick
off.
pony,
Pretty
man.
much, yeah.
yeah, we are one
It
trick
ain't-
pony, but
it ain't broke.
that trick is a pretty
Classic.
good trick. Yeah,
As much as we did pick up where we left off, we actually went backwards a little bit we all came from punk rock bands. We all came from like early 80s punk rock. I mean, we didn't come from Sunset Strip 1982 going to see Quiet Riot at the, wherever, Gazzari's or some lame place like that.
Right.
We were all punkers, so we kind of actually took that mentality and grafted it towards the whole DIY process of recording the record.
Yeah.
And like David said, we didn't have anybody like, you got to do it like this. Where's the backup vocals? I don't hear keyboards. Where's percussion? It's like, no, we're doing it the way we want to do it.
Right.
And so we took the punk ethic to it that we've always had, that we've never got rid of, or maybe we did in the, sometime in the 1991 or whatever. But it just flowed. It was easy.
The thing is that happens when you get signed to a major label a lot of times is that they're looking for that hit and that song to push you. And I think maybe on that second record that we kind of, veered in that direction where we should have just...
we drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, we
We
drank the Kool-Aid.
listened to them. We
But-
said, you want us to dress a little nicer? Okay, we'll dress a little nicer.
Yeah.
But if you
want us
listen to those demos that we did, that became Joker and Triple X, a lot of that stuff is just, back to like where we were, I feel
Yeah.
like,
Right.
It was like raw production. Some of it's really good, So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of the old adage, you've got your whole lifetime to write your first record.
Yeah.
Then the label rushes you to put out your second record.
Yeah.
And then they drop you, and then your third record is your potential masterpiece, but you don't have the
Exactly.
distribution arm anymore.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Because your third album now, first of all, what reason was
Well, we had
given?
26 years
Yeah,
to write
yeah,
our first album, and we
yeah.
had another 26 years to write the
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, there you
go.
He came full
This
circle.
is our debut.
Yeah.
This is your debut. All over again. Going back to the Geffen years, your self-titled came out in '89. You followed it with 6s, 7s, and 9s in '91. And one of the things you do on a major label is put out videos, and you guys had hit singles with Hollywood, Simple Man, All the Time in the World. And then the Hollywood video was pretty stripped down, but by the time you got to Simple Man and especially All the Time in the World, I've got visions of you guys cringing on the set because somebody's trying to spray your hair or
exactly.
It was pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, was it?
It was, yeah. I got fucked up. All the time in the world.
Yeah.
I knew it was happening when it was happening. I felt like I signed my death warrant by, like I said, drinking their Kool-Aid.
Right.
You know, instead of saying no, we're going to do it our way.
You got Geffen, and you got your management, and everyone's like this on you. And at a certain point, you just
too many outside forces trying to tell you what you've been doing naturally your whole life.
Yeah,
right.
You think to yourself, oh, these guys know more than we do, but in reality, they're trying to make a buck off you,
right?
And they didn't know better than we did,
right?
So,
your first album, a lot of your fans will know this, but maybe some other viewers won't. Your first national tour for the debut album, your opening act was the Black Crowes.
Who?
What?
You forgot about that already.
No, that was a great tour. I love those guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you remember from that tour? What were your thoughts of the Black Crowes? And then how weird was it for you to watch them kind of, ascend into this major success?
There might have been a tinge of kind of jealousy or something, but I mean, it's, people like what they like. It's some things hit, some things don't.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them. I'm glad for their success.
Oh yeah, I just think it's cool that you guys were the first to take them out and give them national exposure.
They were great guys. I mean, it was a blast watching. The first time we went down and saw them, there was something there, and it was like, wow, this is great. We get to see these guys every night. They're very cool. And as the tour progressed, so did their career. It started going higher and higher. And they were just
their single was
taken off, and it was great watching that happen. At least it happened to a cool bunch of guys and not a bunch of like douchebags.
Right.
The realization hit me when we played San Francisco and James Hetfield was there, and I told Baker, I was like, James Hetfield's here, man. And he was like, he's not here to see us.
But somebody who did see you and was a big fan of you was Axl Rose. He was spotted wearing Junkyard T-shirts and some photo shoots, and he wore that.
I don't know that he was a huge fan, or I think they dug us. So they
all dug us, yeah.
They came into a show at the Whiskey A Go Go, right? No, not Whiskey. The
White Trash A Go Go.
White Trash A Go Go. It's an underground club, and I don't know if the whole band was there, but Axl and Duff.
Duff were there.
And we just happened to print up a bunch of shirts that we printed in our living room that day. I think,
Yeah, we were giving them away. We weren't selling them or
hanging
anything.
them anywhere we could to dry.
Yeah. We were just like, take
promo.
it here, giving them to everybody. We didn't think about, we should sell merch or anything. We were just like, here, take a shirt, take a shirt, take a shirt.
So Axl took the shirt, and he happened to have a photo shoot the next day.
Yeah.
And then he happened to have a show or two where he wore it.
Yeah.
Best free publicity you guys.
Of course.
Hands down. I mean, you can buy that kind of.
You guys were label mates with Guns N' Roses, and I've always thought it was kind of odd that it's usually like when a band from a scene takes off, another crop of bands like them creates this era. Like when Quiet Riot blew up, then all of a sudden you had Motley Crue, Rat, Warrant, Poison, Dokken. And then a few years after you guys, you kind of had the grunge thing where it was Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, and they were even changing radio formats to alternative music. It became the name. But you guys existed in this weird little slice, late 80s, early 90s. Bands like you, Circus of Power, Dangerous Toys,
Four Horsemen, Sea
Hags, Bucket.
Hangman, Bucket.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why it was that didn't become an era like the two eras that bookend your time.
Well, my opinion is that when we came out, it was what was happening was these big power ballads. That was what everyone was trying to do, power ballad wise, and I just think that that's what people wanted to hear. God knows why, but it was like that's what people wanted to hear. And as far as timing,
it was a marketing. It was a marketing thing because, like, with us, it's like, well, where do they stick a band like us or Circus of Power? Well, we'll just put them in the same magazines as, you know, the Pretty Boys, Warrant, Poison, Rat, and all those guys.
It makes their job easier if they can pigeonhole you or give you like a. Okay, that's this kind of band. That's that kind of band.
Right.
And you know, so like I say, it makes their job easier. They can't make the difference between, you know, the subtle differences, or the rather obvious differences, in my opinion, between the bands.
But yeah, there was a lot of great bands from the same era that, you know, were on the radar for maybe an album or two, quality songs, you know, but it never really, much like yourselves, the label didn't nurture them past 2 albums, didn't hear a hit, so all of a sudden they're all dropped. Dangerous Toys was the same way. I thought their 3rd album, the one that they put out independently after the majors, is my favorite, you know. Let's talk about your 3rd album, Joker, and then it was followed by Triple X, or do I have that?
And they were simultaneously.
Without getting into a lot of, you know, the past is the past, what happened, happened. We recorded a ton of stuff for the 3rd record. And a lot of those songs were unfinished. A lot of them were scratch vocals.
Yeah, they're works in progress.
And some were like that Clash song.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just blasphemy. You don't do it. We should never do it.
We had studio time. Let's just fucking knock this out. We just
let's do a Clash song. Let's do a Fear song. Well, you know, we've got time.
It wasn't meant for the masses.
Yeah.
You know,
okay, fair enough. Well, for what it's worth, I think there's some great stuff on there.
I think it is too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, not tooting my horn, but there were some good stuff on there. But not all of it.
Yeah.
There's some stinkers.
There's some real shit.
There's some stuff that's like, oh, I can't listen to that.
I like Holding On and Crawling Back. Tried and True is a great one. So I got to ask you, the jackets. You guys are like the denim and patchwork version of the Ramones.
Nice.
Who started Who started the denim jacket with
that was Chris's. That whole concept was Chris's.
Yeah.
Me and him together.
Yeah.
You know, he had the idea, and I was, and we, you know, I think we worked symbiotically.
Right.
Together, me and Chris. You know, I don't think there would have been a Junkyard. He couldn't have done it without me, and I couldn't have done it without him.
Right,
you know?
right.
But he, you know, I give him full credit for having the, you know, because in LA, I mean, or whatever, you have to have at least some sort of cohesive look or something.
Yeah.
We just didn't want it to be, you know,
spandex
and
slammed out.
Leg warmers.
Yeah.
None of that.
And really, with Chris and us, it wasn't an option.
Right.
There's only so much you can do with that.
We're not the most photogenic.
Yeah.
One more quick question, I'll let you go. I was going to ask you guys, because you have such a strong punk influence, each one of you guys, which was the first punk band that came along that really shook you up and
I'll go
had
first.
you...
For me, it was the Pistols. I remember that night like it was yesterday. I was listening to Rodney on the Rock. Someone in high school told me about this radio show called Rodney on the Rock, and so I was listening to it, and I think it was Anarchy in the UK came on, and I was just like, fuck, that sounds fucking good.
Yeah.
It was off to the races. It was like, I got to find out more about this and what it's all about. So for me, it was the Pistols.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was pretty much like listening to Kiss in 77, 78, and buying Cream magazine. And Cream magazine used to cover the New York punk scene so well. So there was like, you know, Ramones, and they would cover the Pistols and the Damned and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see Ted Nugent. Who are these guys? These guys are cool. And then I picked up a Pistols record and a Damned record at the same time, and it was just on my turntable the whole time. And for me, it was basically, I get pretty much probably the Damned more than the Pistols, but it was.
My parents wanted to kill me.
Oh yeah, my dad was like, no, shut that shit off. I'm like, no, but this is an actual song. Listen to it. He's like, oh, shut up.
For me, it was the because you know it was you know my junior high school years. I was full on Judas Priest and heavy metal stuff, and but you know I go to the shows and they seem like these icons, these untouchable, you know, these guys up on a pedestal. but Austin had such a thriving punk scene at the time, and it was accessible.
Yeah.
And I was like watching these guys who were only a few years older than me and standing 3 feet away from them.
Yeah.
And playing, and then it was a community. It was, I mean, like a lot of those guys could barely play their instruments, and and a lot of people did that. They thought, well, if they can do it, then we can.
Right.
And eventually, these bands learned to play their instruments and got good.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you.
The accessibility of punk rock was what allured me to it.
Yeah, the Cuban level. They weren't gods on a pedestal, like you were saying. Yeah.
They made it seem attainable.
Yeah, yeah. Given the success of the current album, have you started thinking about a follow-up? Have you started writing? Are you going to ride this one out?
We're getting ready to start thinking about it.
Yeah. Has this one kept you on the road longer than you thought at first?
We're not even started yet.
Yeah.
We've
still got about 10 more shows left.
Actually in the process of doing that right now.
Wow, okay.
I probably shouldn't talk about
All
things that haven't been put down in paper yet.
Yeah, we got 10 shows on the books left, and then we still haven't started booking for 2018. So there's going to be probably 20 more shows for 2018. In the meantime, though, we're thinking about a new record, and then we're also thinking about putting out some of like the older stuff, like maybe do a best of Triple X, Joker, Tried and True, doing something like that.
A bunch of ideas being tossed around.
Yeah, we're through. Yeah, so now that we have a label that backs us, we can do these things. Yeah.
Well, I wish you continued success. It's a great record. I know you guys have to go, so we'll cut you loose here. For those of you watching out there, again, the new album from Junkyard is called High Water. It's been getting rave reviews, and deservedly so. Go check it out. Look for Junkyard on tour. Find him on Facebook. Find him on Twitter. I'm Metal Dave Glessner. Thanks again for watching TooFastToDie.com.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks
We went
so
a little
much.
longer than we wanted to.
Oh,
You
no,
guys
it's
were
fine.
giving us great
Perfect.
information. My clock over there was flashing.
That's what editing's for.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know that we'll ever go again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.